Welcome to Gazali. Today we have a very special guest. If you look at her, you will feel that maybe she's one of the Italian actresses who has come down for the film festival. But Valentina Levi is very special. Valentina Levi is from Rome. She studied Oriental art. She is an expert in Indian miniature paintings. She is an expert in Japanese contemporary art, Chinese contemporary art, and she also did her master's MBA in Paris on basically marketing management of art. And she has curated many shows. She came to Goa to meet me, to perhaps include me in one of the shows she was curating in Rome, and that's how we met. Valentina is one of the very well-known young curators. So Valentina, welcome to Goa.
Hello, thank you, Subodh, for inviting me here.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
So tell us, Valentina, most of the viewers, for them, a word curator is a little strange. So what is a curator? What is the role of a curator in art?
Okay, wow, this is a very complex question because, you know, the work of curator is really young. I mean, until 10 years ago, there were not so much curators in art, more maybe art historian or art critic. But actually, the curator is always these things. I mean, it's always, generally, it's an art critic and an art historian.
Curator has
also
to be an historian and
I mean, everyone can curate a show and also make a very nice show because you know, when you have to put together work of art, if you have good taste and if you really are involved in the art world, and you can create a very nice show. But I think that the best way for doing that is to be an art historian or
So what do you do exactly when you curate a show? What do you do?
Okay, first of all, I think, anyway, I can speak for me, not for the other curators. So basically everyone has its own way of curate. But for me, anyway, when I have to create a show, the first thing is to think about what I want to say and what's the point of the exhibition. It's not just curate and put together artists and make something nice. It's really reflect upon some issues and also try to find the best way for do it and to make also
to work around a theme, work on around a subject.
Yes, around a topic and also around but also it depends from the show. I mean, sometimes if you have just I don't know, sometimes you have the topic because I don't know, the director of a museum asks you to create a show about something specific. So if you have the topic, you just have to make research and search the best way for explain what you want to say.
No, I had a wonderful simile. I feel that perhaps curating is like weaving a necklace.
Okay.
Like you have a beautiful necklace there,
okay,
but then it is beautiful because there's a kind of a there's an order there. So you can't put any kind of beads together and make a necklace.
No,
so perhaps curator is a thread which puts different beads of artworks together.
Yeah.
Do you agree in a way?
Yeah, this is a nice point of view. It's, I think that yeah, we can say that.
Yeah.
But finally, I don't know. There are also other approach, and there are also some curators that just put together things, and also they want to create this I don't know, this effect of chaos, and sometimes it could be a choice. It could be a choice. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like driving in India. When you look at this show, you will get that feeling that has been your feeling for all this while. Okay, exactly. Valentina, tell me what kind of art moves you? What kind of art do you like?
This is a difficult question too, because as you mentioned a little bit, I'm a historian of Asian art, basically ancient art of Asia. Then finally I was specialized in Japanese contemporary art, but I first studied, you know, the ancient art. So I appreciate also an artwork of, I don't know, the 10th century, for example, has a piece of art that was made just yesterday. So I have a very, I don't know, wide approach to art in some way. So I like a lot of things, actually. Basically, that's the point. And but in general, I really like the art that make you reflect upon something, that make you think about some issue. So, and that's, I think, that normally the contemporary art does.
Could you give us an example about art which makes you think, which moves you? Because you told me earlier too that art which is issue-based, art almost which is a art of an activist is what moves you. Can you give us some examples of some work like this you like?
Well, there were a lot of artists that are involved in political and social issues during the 60s and the 70s, for example. But today we can mention Ai Weiwei just for make a very, very known example. But there are a lot of artists, really that work with this this kind of topics, and I think that it's good when art.
I think I would tell a little bit about Ai Weiwei to our viewers, because Ai Weiwei is an artist who was an activist artist. When there was an earthquake in China, a lot of buildings collapsed, school buildings collapsed. But the buildings next to the school did not collapse. So he did the study of the concrete of the school buildings and proved that there was corruption during the construction of these buildings. And his artwork was basically, if I am not mistaken, he wrote the names of the kids who died. And then he had the concrete samples as display. So that is.
Ai Weiwei is a very good example because he's an artist that is politically and socially involved, and but also can create very aesthetically work and aesthetic work. So it deals also with the question of.
1 second.
I moved too much my hands. No.
Kirale. 我走 Okay.
Valentina, you have been curating many shows. In general, what kind of art moves you?
Okay. In general, I really like art that make you feel something and also make you reflect about some issue, and that's why because I think that actually art is a very powerful medium for communicate and also to create an awareness upon some issues that are also related with the society and with the world actually. So.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I think one of the most interesting statements which I love is by Joseph Beuys. It says only art has the power to create evolutionary and revolutionary changes in the society. So art has a tremendous power. Can you give us an example of work of art which really sort of was issue-based, which you have liked?
Okay, so actually there are a lot really of artists that I love and that are also involved in this kind of issue. In the 60s or in the 70s, for example, there were a lot of art activists at the same time. Today, maybe the most famous is Ai Weiwei, that you mentioned too. So he's a very good example of an artist that can be socially involved and also approach political.
Just for the viewers, I will just tell them a little bit about Ai Weiwei, because many of them may not know Ai Weiwei. Ai Weiwei is a very famous Chinese artist, and he has been imprisoned a number of times by the Chinese government. He has been in jail many times. He has been tortured. And the first project he did was when there were some earthquakes in China. He realized that certain schools had collapsed, killing hundreds of students. And so he did, but he realized that the building next to the school had not collapsed. So he did an analysis of the sample of concrete from the collapsed building and proved that there was corruption during the construction of the building at the bureaucratic level. And then he had his exhibition with pieces of the concrete and names of the children who had died. So I think that was really a moving work. In the last Venice Biennale also, he had himself in the prison, replica of his. That was wonderful. Okay, Valentina, why India?
Okay.
Why did you take interest in Indian art?
Okay. Well, actually, I was working with the National Museum of Oriental Art in Rome, and I was thinking about the idea of making a show with Indian artists in Rome, and I also I'm working with also RH Contemporary Art Gallery, that is a gallery of New York, and so I was also making research for them and research for me also for understand a little bit better the Indian art scene, and that's why I came here in India last summer, and so basically for a lot of reasons actually.
And you said about your interest in Indian miniature paintings. The ancient Indian art.
Not only the painting, also the sculpture and also the temple and architecture. I mean, it's Indian art. It's great. I mean, so there are a lot of things.
What is it? Do you find any kind of a difference in the way the European artist and the Indian artist are working?
Contemporary.
In contemporary area.
A little bit, yes, because I think that maybe in this moment in Europe, artists are more or less using all the same, you know, kind of medium, or the same. They are involved with the same kind of research. So it's
same
very difficult.
Same metaphors.
It's very difficult to understand who create a work when you are in an exhibition. It's very difficult because everyone can be the author of everything, you know. So it's
it is like the food. Everywhere there is McDonald's or something like that. In America, it's like that. So
not really, but
not exactly McDonald's.
In a way,
but
I think that
there's a kind of similar works are produced.
And
in India?
In India, I think that finally the artists are more free of work as they want. So this can be a little bit chaotic, maybe.
Like the traffic.
Yes, exactly. Following the example that you made before. But I think that finally it's really interesting because, first of all, I think that also the artists are interested in create their own way of represent things or create. So every artist search for, I mean, it's my impression, of course. They are searching for their own way for create. And
so you are happy with the Indian contemporary art movement?
Yes, I think it's absolutely, the Indian art scene is one of the most interesting in the world in this moment.
Oh, I'm very, very glad since I belong to it. Tell me, who are the artists whom you like in the Indian contemporary scenario?
Okay, I can. There are a lot of very interesting artists, very famous, like, I don't know, Subodh Gupta, Shilpa Gupta, and so on. But I recently met some artists also in Mumbai. For example, Aditi Joshi, that is a young girl that works with plastic and creating beautiful
I love that work which you showed me.
And Rina Callazzo, Shakuntala Kulkarni, a lot of women, and I was really touched by this because
there were a lot of women who was
a lot of women that are making really, really interesting works, and of course, also some men like you, and but I was surprised about the woman Indian artists that I met. Archana Hande.
There are many, Shilpa Gupta and so many.
So a lot of women that
that's good. So we are doing very well. We had a woman prime minister once. And today, I mean, we also had a lot of women who are very important in politics, and they continue to be. So I think India is, in a way, a lot of women are shining in many different areas. So tell me, when you came here, you came basically to meet me, to invite me to for one of your shows in Rome.
Exactly.
And then I sort of described to you about some of the projects, and you wanted to help.
Yeah.
And why?